not actually want to marry, necessarily, a trans person, right?
When you're dating someone, you don't have to disclose every single thing about yourself up front. That's the fun of it. You get to learn about someone new.
Considering that the status of your sexuality is a big deal for a relationship, that definitely should be disclosed before you even go on a date. Though in this case, I actually wouldn't worry because I don't think anyone's being fooled by you.
He shows off his results of dating, and I think it's everyone is a reaction there. He creates tweets with man of angels. Like, look at this.
Nothing changed.
You gotta go back and ask for a refund. Like, this was not a complete job. This is just incomplete homework.
Though to be honest, some trans people are more feminine than others, and it's harder for normies to tell. So in the case where someone is intentionally tricked and any form of sexual contact happens that they would otherwise not consent to, I think that should be considered sexual assault. I completely agree, by the way. I think that is completely over. Like, dude, you have cases where a dude, okay, let me give you an example. Alright, when a dude lies to a girl and tells her that he's actually rich. Alright? Dude lies to a girl in the bar, tells her that he's rich, and she decides to sleep with him. And then afterwards she finds out that he lied. He wasn't rich, he's just a random broken. She claims that sexual assault. How is that any different than you are going out with somebody? You don't want to be not into that. This is from you. Like, this is crazy. Not consent, right? Well, you can't consent if you don't understand the terms of the deal. And if you're trying to trick someone into consenting to something they otherwise would not consent to if they had full knowledge of the terms, then that is very much the mentality of a rapist. You aren't fooling anyone. Everyone knows that you aren't disclosing this information right away for a reason. No shit, otherwise you disclose it. There's a reason why you don't disclose it. You don't disclose it because you want to trap people. Holy shit, mind blown. It's really the best way to continue to take power away from these people so they can't fight this anymore is to just start calling stuff what it is. All the bullying that trans activists have been doing can completely be defeated if we just stick to reality. Brings us to a trans TikTok influencer who goes by Lily King. There was looked into this pretty here. Oh, fucking asshole man. If you haven't seen any of the content, this kind of stuff is like oh, man. Thank you. And every time I see him, they try to talk about 4 years, stuff like that. Every time I see him, I'm up for 4 years. I'm not even kidding. You're such a fucking loser. You go to Thailand, you're thinking people don't know the language, and come on, dude. I'm worried about what? Worried. Already? Holy shit. Did anyone catch what went wrong here? I actually had to watch this multiple times, so let's do a quick repeat. The waiter said, sir, I'm sorry, man. Oh, man. So, Tino is... I forgot about that. I didn't notice that about your red shirt. Oh, sorry, sir, I'm tilted. Or it, whatever, fuck. I don't know, man. Because the waiter said, well, instead of ordering for him, and Tino knows that people will make this mistake. Why misgendering videos are like, dude, Tino's entire career is literally just recording people misgendering Tino to post it online and send it to the public. Oh my god, insufferable bitches, dude. Like, I feel like there has to be like this transgender to Karen pipeline that seems to be studied. Oh, that is why would you get upset if it's non-intentional? You should be upset if it is intentional, like how I did it purely to insult you. See, I was being transphobic there. That's what I was doing. I was being transphobic. That should have been just It's crazy, man. Like, and again, it's invading of other people's lives that is so annoying to everybody. It is so frustrating to people when their lives get invaded. It's like, you go into into their area, and then you berate them for using language. The way language has been used for millennia. Like, come on, dude. Yeah, it's such a knife to the gut that you keep intentionally putting yourself in these situations and film them happening over and over again. Even with the feigned politeness, everyone knows that you're doing this on purpose. And not just that, but Tino has openly talked about not actually caring about being called sir. They don't bother me at all. It's just a nice feeling. A bunch of people saying sir in the comments is what's so now we know that Tino bullying you completely about getting attention. So let's go back to that first video for a second. Into this big virtue signal intimidation, right? Let's take that about this tiny signal on the planet, by the way. Alright? I really think so. Like, all the people that cry victim are the most fucking losers of all time. Every single one of them. That's why it's so frustrating. That's why I decided to start making these videos. Like, you are okay? If you were able to go into restaurants and parade the people working there for language and generally the people really abused with all due respect, you were able to allow a normal person, that's what I would do. Yeah, for a normal person, that's the correct response. Yeah, absolutely. All of that person, no one. It's not all. It's okay. I'll look okay with the ring. Thank you very much. Now you can see why Joe does this. Any dark, free drinks, free cloud, free videos, what a scam, giant grifter, piece of shit. Doesn't Tino also make, like, trans education videos for children, too? Like, these people are insufferable. Like, all these activists, I fucking hate activists. Activists are nightmare people. Because with treat waiters like that, if they got free food and special treatment from it, you do understand they had to throw all that food out, right? Okay, but you also, not only did they have to throw out that food, but it's a level that's actually a lot worse than that. It's like a controlled thing. Because these people are terrified, right? These people are absolutely terrified that this clip is going to go on the internet, which it did anyway, go viral, which it did. And people are going to harass this person for being transphobic. That's why this shit sucks. And that's why I will always defend the people that get canceled for, like, bullshit reasons. This guy's like, words you don't like, you people suck and are shitty. Alright, enough. Enough is enough. We will stand up for the downtrodden. However, I don't know if you guys caught this, but the waiter had an accent, meaning that English is not his first language, so he probably is not all that privy to the pronoun DS, because of that of speech. Also that, probably one, but also, I don't give a shit with an accent. You can say whatever you want. I don't understand why this is not like the new stuff, like hate crime, complete. Stop. Get it. Complete accident. Also, it's stupid. You can say whatever you want to anyone. Enough of it. Get it. Like other people, you can act. I think you should act the right way. Okay? But I don't think giving other people the kindness that they decide to treat you. Okay? And if you're going to be a completely insufferable, narcissistic asshole out there in public and humiliate people and brag on them in public, then with all due respect, sir, fuck you. I mean, if there's any indication that he doesn't understand what's going on, it's that he immediately says sir again after he say ma'am. And all the subtext of this is that this guy spent all this time learning English, and then you know how you're threatening his livelihood over a minor mistake. Yes, sir. Why you have to yell? He's terrified. They're all terrified. You don't understand. We're living in a society where people are terrified, have common sense, or to use words that have been used in that exact way for years. You have to understand, like, that is not normal. That is not real. If you positive scene and getting them fired, especially considering that this occurred at Disneyland. So you know that if the waiter stands up for himself, the company is not going to. Yeah, the company's going to fuck him over because they're like super woke and shit. Bad yeah. So really, this person is just making money off of bullying foreigners and using transgenderism as a shield after being abusive. And sir, again, ultimate defense mechanism every time you activate a nighttime card. I am a trans activist, and therefore my life is before than yours. What this is abuse. And abuse seems to be kind of a foundational strategy of trans activists.
Sure.
Latino has a lot.
I think most activists, to be honest, I think most activism has an abuse element to it. Because otherwise, what's the activism, right? Going out and yelling and screaming, that's not going to do anything. Why are you making a fool of yourself going to do anything? So activism, I think, comes hand in hand with abuse almost every single time. Almost every single time. Abusing my boundaries, abusing my ears, abusing my face. Alright? By you showing up in front of me and yelling and shrieking like a retard. Blocking traffic to protest about something. They're all different forms of abuse. And that's how protests became. Protests are supposed to be freedom of speech. Right? Protests and activism was supposed to be about saying things in public that might be a hard truth, but to say it anyway. Activism became levels of abuse and social manipulation to not only grip for yourself, but also absolutely step on people that didn't fall exactly into your line and worldview. I'm going to say something that I said before, and I'll say it again. People have been canceling me for my take, especially on like the trans movement, the trans activist people. I saw a bunch of videos of people attacking me for this, so I'm going to give them some ammo right now. More than 50% of people think there are two genders. And I think more than 50% of people think that men cannot transition to women and women cannot transition to men. Most people think that. However, most people are scared to say that. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. And I really think that is the majority. And I think it's a big majority. I think it's probably an 80-20 split of people that think transgenderism does not exist. I do think that's true. And I think I'm talking about in America, I'm talking about around the world. Alright, I really think so. And some people are scared to say it because they'll get labeled as an enemy, they'll get canceled, they'll get harassed, they'll get slandered. Why can you put your neck on the chopping block by saying something that I think most people believe? I do think most people believe that on this type of content, as well as stuff that progressively gets springier.
Maybe it's the world, but I don't think so. Absolutely. Still Florida is really conservative. I don't think there's a lot of trans women are allowed to be in the bathroom, but I'm about to go to the bathroom because I have to take both. I get stopped, I guess, but I don't think so.
You see what I mean by, like, there is always this element of invading someone else's space when it comes to activism. Like, it's crazy.
You're aware of it.
For one, it's already cringe to be a Disney adult.
Dude, why are you recording yourself going to the bathroom? Like, why are you doing this? You think this is helping your movement, bro?
Companies are just fetishizing with trans people lying about their status in the hopes of freaking straight men. But there's also a fetishizing of using women's bathrooms. Here's the whole office of biological males filming in the women's bathroom. And I can't imagine how unnerving it must be for women to have to share this space with people who are obviously biological men.
Oh, I know where it leads. I will continue to go into women's restrooms, women's locker rooms, women's spaces, because I am whether you like it or not, and there's nothing you can do about it. I can do it. And so far, it sounds like a threat to me.
Yeah, what has even going on?
Nobody's touching me.
Well, I don't understand. You don't want to take a shit. Take a piss. Why does it matter to you so much? It clearly matters to women. You know, biological women.
You're right, stop me.
Stop me. Least violent activist right there, ladies and gentlemen. Least violent activist. Try and stop me. I will enter your bathroom and I will shit on your floor.
I tried to stop you because it's a bunch of women who have like half your strength. And they don't want to risk you being a psycho who will violently beat them.
Or report them. What about reporting them? I think people don't understand how America has been so like fucking captured by this movement. They've been so captured. It's insane how captured people have been.
If they speak up about you using the women's bathroom.
And by the way, I think this is why I used to say, I used to be a very Little kind of guy. Like, you want to do something, you can do it. Like, if you're not affecting me, I don't have to care. But my opinion is definitely changing over time. I have things that, if there are things that are non-virtuous, or if there are things that you know to be wrong or false or dangerous, you shouldn't crush yourself and not say these things. I think you should say what you believe. You should follow your virtues. And I think if you give a favor, they'll take a hit. You cannot give power to people, ever. If it's for abuse and purposes, or for evil, for any of that shit. Sorry, man. This shit's awful.
Answer that was crazy because they're afraid. No one really happen is that people should just stop.
Of course they're afraid. Can you imagine protesting against trans people? When you're like, remember when you're supposed to be like, protesting against trans, you're like with trans, but when you're like with can you even have Seattle? Alright, we'll see. For the sake of the video, for 10 minutes.
Yeah. And the original police force has finally backfired as it made at USA's second event. Journalist Jonathan Joel was attacked by a demon.
To be clear, I need to explain what's going on here. I need to give you the fucking details of the shit. I lived in Seattle. I actually made my blood. Alright? I had actually made my blood. So, in Seattle, everything Christian protest, you know, and talking about Christianity and how they believe in, you know, basic Christian ethics. They were ran and beat by the Colorado led by the trans people. Right? They went out there and they beat the shit out of them. They ended up getting a bunch of Antifa people arrested. Alright? So let me get this straight. Trans activists, they can go out, they can protest literally everywhere. Alright? Let trans activists continue to protest. If you say anything, then you're a bigot, racist, Nazi. Alright? But if Christians go out and they start to protest Christian values, those guys can't have it. It's the people. I think it's into their it does what they want to do to feel down. No, it is the movement that ultimately for the freedom of other people.
And even granted, Danny Davis would have. He's playing louder.
And the officers, of course, self-defense. If they come around, they are else. Other people.
Arrest police were reluctant to actually arrest anybody as being in a deep blue city like Seattle.
You know why? Because if you come back, you're afraid of vote. That much.
But necessarily Cleveland, as the city mayor made this one of the worst things that we have ever heard. The Christian prayer rally got labeled as fascist family values.
And when people pray, that's a fucked up shit. That's why I feel like I have to talk about it. It's insanity.
The government actually has to let people make a USA a Christian. A protest against the Christian, even still with life and time. And apparently it was good. Well, eventually Seattle PD had to move in, taking several being around that good wagon
and it means people unhappy. And you're like, we can ask about the far right people.
Official statement labeled it a extreme right-wing rally, saying Seattle is proud of its reputation, but the far-right rally held here is opposed to our city's values.
And these people are fucked up. Like, for real. Like, come on. I don't understand why is your belief system any more powerful than anyone else's? Okay, so let me get this. You're an atheist, and you believe in gender spectrum, and transsexual shit, whatever you believe in. Alright, whatever. You believe in all of that. Why did that override the belief of Christians that believe in God and believe in the Bible? Why did that override any of that? Just like you want to be treated to believe what you want other people to be treated to believe what they want, and the answer is no. It's not favor of cancer. Let's be real. Maybe it's harder. They were the case of the training.
Big difference occurred without violence in the face of extreme right-wing nationalism. It's slave and just wrong way.
I just personally tagged it on all atheists. I'm just categorized. Obviously, not only all trans people either. Right? So it's literally the active. anyone that's been remotely like Christian, no, Davis won't provide you with any evidence of violence. They're just gonna pretending for people to make an anti-Christian task force, like to actually check out the anti-Christian stuff. I think for me, how about not a Christian? I think you can bring anti-Christian behavior just like any other anti-Semitism or racism or any of that shit. I think it should be treated exactly the same way. I don't know why it's not narrow with their hierarchy, but most of the people there as children. So the media tried to do it again, where the Daily Mail reported it as, where the Daily Mail reported it as Christian prayer rally attacked by the Seattle Times, then National Family Values, and hey, what do you agree with that family values and marriage, race, marriage, and family? And choose love, stand with us, love thy neighbor, and not the war and violence. People are acting it's a concept, it's a Christian concept. It's almost like they label anything like it's corporates. That's what they can jump on. I think there's no more than the impact and the consequence. Yeah, they even have to avoid their culture. I equally believe Seattle PD would pilot some slam poetry peace officers as they saw the worst sign I've ever seen saying, I heart boy, and then another word for cat. They went to a Christian rally with signs saying, I love boy pussy. Like, dude, what is happening? Like, why should I have respect for the people that clearly don't have respect for me? Like, it's insane. Insane. But yeah, I really believe that in general, I think people respect all of them. I love prejudice for the thing, but if you are not going to allow any respect for me, why should I respect you? It's nowhere in public. You should be waving that sign. It's concentrating you. What makes it even worse? Dude, I'm not ready. It's prideful, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope that their balls hanging out of their shirts or whatever, and actual degeneracy. I hope those people get arrested. Because it's unacceptable. It doesn't matter what month it is. You can't just go outside naked in front of children. As even after all the arrests, since the mayor seemed to side with the protesters, when Bay Day USA called for the mayor to resign 3 days later, this same group protested them again. Hundreds of Christians and their allies went scorched earth on Maryland's hill outside Seattle City Hall. They went scorched earth on him, then you see a sign saying Jesus loves Seattle. No, that's a hate crime. No, Jesus loves Seattle. You've gone too far this time, Christians. You should have held up a sign saying I love boy pussy. That would have been more approved. It's not good. Yeah, it is. Russell Johnson led the charge, demanding an apology for a reputation after they labeled their peaceful concert at Flanders Park over the weekend an extreme right-wing rally. He's right. He should be fired. He should step down. You cannot call Christian transgender Christian God. Yeah, I feel so bad for police officers. I really do. And then it's like, you guys know what's like, how on earth can you be a police officer in this climate? Now, I don't want to be mean to someone that may be terribly ill, but realistically, who
private should never feel emboldened to fight that much larger police officer, unless the police officer's boss will publicly endorse and encourage it.
Absolutely. That's why these people have that's why they have called they know that the same are I mean, folks been out forever. I actually believe in freedom and law and justice. But you gotta realize, these are the people that actually are not the men. These are the aggressors. The business. Shut at least through the attack on the chip and days. And then put out another and he's not and mother with her tail, which we all think that he's he shut down the entire section of the city. And actually had to decimate the religious out of the air. But then the police officers killed about this prominence movement, hitting over 700 cops that put the city. I got actually against that team of refugees. Fucking base rules. I don't blame them at all. Let Seattle fall to the wall. They compensate. And now they do not have the staffing to handle the administration to solve the charge of mass arrest. As one fourth of their remaining officers are eligible to retire. Oh my god! It looks like this is this plan. Why would you want to be a police officer in Blue City? I feel like they are about to be able to hit upon people along the way. And then police officer in Blue Cities, we're not actually allowed to be arresting the violent people. Like, actually insanity. The mayor protesters which give the violence and emotional people. Yeah, this is exactly what they wanted by dismantling law enforcement. I just don't think the mayor expected the feds to step in, and that's why I'm so happy with the current government of America. And after capably investigate allegations and targeted violence against religious groups in Seattle concert, incredibly fucking base. That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. We need this shit to happen. It's not a suggestion. It doesn't matter what religion, alright? It doesn't matter what religion it is. And Christian people at a concert, they're getting violently attacked. They're gonna side with the attackers? Oh, God. Deputy Director Dan Bongino stated they will look into the attacks in Seattle, but as freedom of religion isn't a suggestion, with the mayor responding, free speech protection. People not shy of standing up for Seattle residents and values under pressure of conventional methods. Which is why we are continue supporting the violent people that are attacking people. And that shit. We seem like the mayor is just a people in a movement for a people, because I imagine he thinks he's very big. These activists, they're good. Oblivious to the fact that at some point he's in his group with the mob, and they'll quickly forget all the protection that he once gave them. But I don't feel sorry for Seattle, or just stays high and on. Yeah, fuck you, Seattle. Alright, well, I want to go it is fun. It is extra protection in different places in the government. That's why I think we're pushing back against this type of behavior. You know, a lot of things explain how transgender market works with kids in the background and child-friendly metaphor. Yeah, last summer I got I saw this word. It's actually filed pink costume. And the plan basically was to get my marshmallow on make his finger into a marshmallow. They all got one, this is so gross. It's so disgusting. It's so fucking vile. Talking about this shit at all. But doing it especially in front of children. Person needs to be put on a watch list. I think that they also apparently do these children's content where they teach trans shit to kids. Apparently, no one would be shocked if there are some skeletons in Tino's closet. These topics aren't appropriate for young kids. Hi, friend. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. What it means to be Christian. I think that this person should be banned off of the community. thing. I think that there needs to be an 18 plus section or something for social media that they should be able to post this shit. I do. I do not believe in deplatforming, but I do believe in protecting children. And I think pushing ideological cancer onto kids is dangerous. It really is. It really is. Listen, until you figure shit out, this is not healthy for children. Obviously, this is an example of someone literally going after children. Literally. Not even exaggerating. Freedom of speech doesn't mean you can talk to my kids, okay? Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
It's a big word, but I promise that it's easy to understand. Ready to learn?
Not easy to understand.
The first thing I want you to do is close your eyes. Now think, you feel like a boy or a girl.
And it's talking to your vision. Is it a bad thing? Do you really want to keep this here, kid?
The purity of this ritual is a very popular feature from here. I defined as payroll, and I thought that was not funny because name where she was teaching toddlers how to say no, so that was great. Well, maybe it's annoying to parents, but probably very useful if they ever meet someone like Lily Tino. And the dance account and advertises that account in the same area where the video is targeted at children.
And then to be an ugly whore. Dude, it's gotta be fucking awful to be an ugly whore. You know what I'm saying? Like, being a whore, alright, whatever. Being ugly, sure, yeah, but being an ugly whore, that's crazy.
Review. How is this not a crime? Can you see why people are mad now? Stuff like this happens over and over again.
Again, just like expression, whatever. I think we all agree should not be shown to children. I think that we need to have an actual line drawn in the sand for content that should not be acceptable to be accessed by kids. And I think that includes pushing ideologies that are dangerous to children. Absolutely, without even a shadow of a doubt. It's insanity that this shouldn't even happening to me. Like, this is an actual child entertainer slash porn. This is a prostitute, a deranged prostitute teaching your kids about transgenderism.
It's put on younger and younger people way before it's age appropriate, and now they have stuff like this.
didn't pray for any of that. They'll believe it. Because kids are really easy to brainwash, unfortunate. And just people. It's catering for children. It is so bad. It's like, don't believe that.
Irreversible and would make Joe seem hysterical. But
Is fucking horrible. Hear these statements. I don't know, man. Maybe it's because of my age and my current life that I think about things like this. But how do you sterilize a child? The number one most fulfilling thing in the universe is having kids. I can't think of anything that's more good and positive and holy and fulfilling than having children. And the fact that you're gonna take kids and possibly their life, it's mind-boggling.
mother never doubted it was the right thing. Unexpected conversation happened one afternoon.
It makes me want to cry. This is a child that is a victim of a groomer parent. Alright, let's be real. That's what's happening. This kid was groomed into this shit. And their life is ruined because of it.
Only you know the answer to that. So
Damn, you got real lucky.
But you're a boy. But your mom told you that you're a girl. So you're gonna say you're a girl because your mom convinced you that.
And she promises to begin giving her estrogen, female hormones, in 2 years, around 13.
Feminism was a mistake, man. I don't know why. Hey, I don't know. Obviously, this is like anecdotal. I'm gonna tell you some anecdotal evidence right here, but every time I see one of these kids and these kids getting fucked up, it's always the mom. It's like never the dad, and it's always the mom. Completely anecdotal evidence, but I've seen like 100 of these clips so far, and it's almost every single time. I don't know what's going on. This is heartbreaking, and the mom is so proud.
That's what I think. You're not going to wait until 16 to start. You know that, okay?
A lot of times it strikes me that this happened just 20 years ago. Thank you. I wouldn't have been able to give her blockers, and she would have been
How do these doctors do this? Like, these doctors, they go through fucking, they go through med school. Like, how do they do this? Like, it's shocking.
that had to go through male puberty. That terrifies me. That's all. I don't know that she would have survived.
Poor fucking kid, man. It's tragic. It's tragic. By the way, for the record, I think that them going after their own children is almost as bad as them going after your children, by the way. By the way, I think that's important to note. Like, just like it's unacceptable for them to go after someone else's kids, going after their own kids is fucked up too. Imagine a parent abusing their child. That's like, I feel like that's what I'm watching right now.
I'm not really sure how these people have it in their head that it's okay to allow a young child to make a permanent decision like that. Especially considering
The child never made a decision, okay? The child never decided shit. The mom decided, and society allowed it. People cheered her on social media.
that the child expressed pretty heads down, and maybe that's cute enough to put your kid on life-altering medications when they turn 13. One thing that can be happy that we're moving closer to a place where eventually we can do this by going to start getting punished, especially if I know it is. We can put snap all the on me, that's it. And keep the thing, eventually,
Time I open up Twitter, I see another tweet talking about how the youth are able to meet a right?
God damn, we did a lot of damage. God, shit.
That found out ancient people about what's fucked up in the world.
Oh. Why are you looking at me like I'm a snap?
And it's because the accident.
Yeah. You see that? That motherfucker tried to hit me. Did you see that? He tried to run over me. Holy shit, we might be able to just one phase that. Get off the fucking way! Oh man, so glad there's defense down.
Right there. Get you ready for life. That's the ultimate betrayal is a parent ruining their child's life maliciously for the sake of some random social gratification. And that's what we're seeing happen. We're seeing schools pushing, we're seeing parents pushing, absolutely unreal. Like this is somebody, life is cooked. Cooked! It will never get married in a normal relationship. It will never actually have a body
Fuck yeah.
properly. Like this is someone whose life was destroyed by this cancer.
All of these high, but sexual abuse history sure is commonly reported amongst